So, just earlier at practice, I was with the running backs and I was with David, the other preceptor, and we had seen a kid get hit. He took a pretty big shot, and then he was down for a couple seconds and got up and didn't really seem like himself. And so David and I went out there and we were like walking him off the field, and then because we were suspecting like some sort of head injury, most likely concussion. Um, and one of the coaches had come up to us and basically we explained to him what we thought was going on, and we were going to take him up to the clinic for like an evaluation. But he basically told us to just sit him on the sideline because they needed him for Saturday.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you know what happened because personally, I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
I
Is
be on the safe
it,
side.
yeah, for sure. No, I agree with you. There is always and I still as a student athletic trainer, sometimes it seems hard or difficult to kind of confront, a professional that you're working with, but I do believe there is like a professional way to handle it, even if, or to ask a question, if you think that a decision they're making may or may not be, favorable. What other ways you think like you could have talked to him to kind of change his mind a little bit on how the situation was handled?
I feel like I could have just like pulled him to the side after the coach came over and been like, "Hey, like there are some like serious effects of like second impact syndrome. So if he did have a concussion and we just didn't do an eval and he played on Saturday and took another concussive blow, then
Hmm.
that's gonna fall on us. That's not on the coaching staff. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I would just kind of like do that on the side. I wouldn't have done that like in front of the coach because I don't want to like
Hmm.
undercut anybody or like do anything like that because I don't want to come off as like disrespectful or as like a
For
know-it-all.
sure.
Um,
Um,
but
but
it's just a hard situation for me because I feel like I don't have like any power to really say anything necessarily.
yeah, I mean, I think sometimes too, you can make a suggestion, just say, even with the coach involved, just say, hey, could we just do a sideline evaluation? And if the kid seems, you know, like it's safe enough for him to remain on the sideline and watch the remainder of practice, and then evaluate him, you know, again after practice up in the clinic. That way he's still able to kind of be a part of practice if it's possible.
Uh-huh.
Um, you can kind of handle it that way sometimes too.
Okay. Uh, yeah, because after he took that blow, like I know the guy that got hit, and um, he really did not seem like himself.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I do think that's a good call, especially with head injuries. We tend to be extra cautious most of the time. Um, but I think it's completely acceptable for you to recognize that situation and, go ahead and to make a comment in order to handle it differently next time.
Okay. Um, so I'll make sure to talk to David about that tomorrow. Just kind of like suggest that. Um, I
And
don't
if,
come off as rude or like a know-it-all.
yeah, well, and if it makes you feel more comfortable too, we could set up a time where the three of us kind of chat together about the situation. That
Okay.
way you don't feel like you're stepping on his toes or being unprofessional in any manner, if that helps.
I mean, we could do that too. I just don't want him to feel like I'm going behind his back, if that makes sense.
No, exactly.
Because he's always going to know where it's coming from because it was
Right.
me and David there. So
But at the same time, you can't let a coach dictate the care of an athlete on the sideline.
exactly,
So,
that's our job.
for sure.
So yeah, let's go ahead and schedule a time. Try like tomorrow or something.
Okay.
We can all three meet and then kind of like uh, talk through like different ways we could have handled that situation. And then I just really want to know what he was thinking at that point.
Right.
I don't know if he was just trying to like please the coach or if
Hmm.
he thought he was okay. Like I don't know where his mindset was with that. So um, that might
And sometimes,
clear some stuff up.
right, and sometimes too, communication can be, make the difference in those situations as well. And as a student and as you're learning, it's okay to ask them, hey, you know, I saw this, and this happen to that kid. Why did you go ahead and make that, decision to just leave him out there and not evaluate him right away?
Right. Um, do you have any like tips or anything or like key points that you really want me to cover like for tomorrow's meeting, or do you just kind of want to like me to give my little spiel?
I mean, I think that you do have a valid, statement with, your concern for the athlete's overall well-being. I do believe, so without being there, it's situational. So I think it's fair to hear his side too and why he made that decision. Um, but then with that being said, with head injuries and so forth, I mean, if the coach did want him, like I told you, to be out there, it's okay to still at least perform some kind of sideline evaluation to kind of just assess the severity of what the athlete is experiencing. And then, kind of go from there. If it's safe for them to continue to watch practice the remainder of the time, that's fine. If it's not, then, that's when other measures need to be taken to make sure the athlete's safe.
Okay. All right. That sounds good to me.
Awesome.